Chosen One, stop everything right now. Something unprecedented just happened in the courts of heaven. And guess what? It involves you directly. You thought this was just another day, but you're about to realize that the heavens themselves have been moved by you in a way you could never imagine. Do you feel it? That stirring deep within your spirit, the feeling that something big is unfolding right now as you read these words? Well, let me tell you, you are the reason for this shift. Heaven is literally holding its breath as I speak, and it's all because of you. This isn't just a coincidence. The hand of the Almighty has orchestrated every moment of your life with surgical precision. Every tear, every sleepless night, every struggle you thought that was meaningless, it was all leading to this moment. This is not just a test you faced. This is the test, the one that defines everything that's about to unfold in your life. You think you've been going through battles alone. Think again. The heavens have been watching, taking note of your every move, your every choice. This is no ordinary battle. It's a battle for your destiny, and the whole of heaven has been observing. Zephaniah 3:17 says, "The Lord your God is in your midst, a mighty one who will save. He will rejoice over you with gladness. He will quiet you by his love. He will exalt over you with loud singing." Heaven isn't just pleased with you, it's rejoicing. Singing over you, and what you're about to hear will make you finally understand why. Let me make this crystal clear. What just happened in the heavenly realm, because of you, is not something that happens every day. Heaven itself was paused, held in sacred interruption, all because of your journey, your struggles, your unseen battles. The throne room of the Most High, where angels are in constant worship, where the seraphim cry out, "Holy, holy, holy," without ceasing, was brought to a halt for you. That's right, the very courts of heaven stopped. The eternal worship of the Almighty paused, and all eyes turned to watch what was unfolding in your life. Why? Because your faith, your perseverance, your choices have reached a point where even the heavenly hosts could not ignore it. They've witnessed your pain, your sacrifices, your moments of doubt and struggle. They saw when you almost gave up, when every part of you screamed to quit, but you didn't. They watched as you made choices that no one saw. Choices that in their quiet, unseen moments stirred the heart of God himself. And let me tell you, when the King of the universe takes notice, everything changes. Heaven doesn't stand still for just anyone. It stands still for the chosen ones. It's a sacred interruption that doesn't happen lightly. This isn't just about you. This is about the weight of your spirit, the depth of your heart, and the strength of your soul, things the heavens could not overlook any longer. This moment, this divine pause, was no accident. It was designed, planned, and destined to happen at this exact time in history. Your journey is no longer just yours. It is now a testimony that echoes throughout the heavenly realm. And what God saw, what the angels witnessed, was something they had to stop and marvel at. Listen closely. Chosen One, what you're about to hear will transform your understanding of everything you've gone through. You've seen the battles, the pain, the relentless storms that have threatened to drown you. And you've wondered time and time again, why me? What's the point of all this? Well, brace yourself, because this is the moment your perspective is about to be flipped upside down. What if I told you that every single trial you faced, every dark night of the soul, every moment of doubt was never random? What if I told you that everything, every bit of suffering you thought was just senseless, hardship, was actually preparing you for something far greater than you can currently comprehend? You've endured not by chance, but because heaven has been watching and testing you, shaping you into the warrior you are today. The pain wasn't a punishment. It was refining you. The silence you endured wasn't abandonment. It was a stage of preparation. In those tears you cried, the nights you lay awake, wondering if you'd ever see the light again, heaven was recording it all. This message isn't just another motivational pep talk. It's a divine revelation. What you've been through wasn't a coincidence. It was destiny in the making. This moment will shift your entire view of your life's journey. What you thought were failures, setbacks, and unexplainable delays, they were divine appointments. What seemed like suffering was actually the fire that forged your strength. Romans 8:37 tells us, "In all these things, we are more than conquerors through him who loved us." You were more than a conqueror, even when it felt like you were barely surviving. The world may not have seen your battles, but heaven did. And now, you're about to understand just how much this journey has shaped you, how each trial has molded you into someone who will stand tall in the face of anything that comes next. So get ready. This isn't just a turning point. This is your divine awakening. And from this moment forward, you will see your trials and your entire journey in a way that will change everything. You've always felt like you were walking this journey alone, haven't you? You've battled in silence, faced your darkest moments, and wondered if anyone was even paying attention. But here's the truth. Heaven has been watching you long before you even realized it. Every tear, every prayer, every single struggle, it has all been recorded in the courts of heaven. You may have felt invisible to the world, but to God, you've always been seen. Psalm 56:8 says, "You keep track of all my sorrows. You have collected all my tears in your bottle. You have recorded each one in your book." Did you catch that? Every moment of pain you thought was insignificant. Every time you felt abandoned. Every night you cried alone. In the dark, heaven was taking note. The Most High was not distant. He was near, keeping careful watch over every detail of your life. The battles you thought were meaningless, heaven saw them all. The struggles that seemed to be your personal burden, heaven knew about every single one. You thought your pain was isolating, but it was actually the very thing that captured the attention of the Almighty. You thought the enemy had the upper hand, that your suffering was in vain. But heaven was recording your faith in those very moments when you felt like giving up. Your resilience was not unnoticed. The angels were taking note. God was watching. You didn't know it, but heaven was always on alert, ready to move at the right time. Every moment of despair you endured was actually a test of your strength, a strength that you didn't even know you had. You were not forgotten, not invisible, but highly visible in the eyes of the Creator. You've been walking this path thinking that your prayers were just words falling into thin air, but heaven has been responding. Every single one of those silent nights when you felt unseen and unsung, the heavens were deeply aware of your every cry. And now this message is coming to you as a reminder that you have never been alone. God has been with you all along, watching, preparing, and celebrating your perseverance. Heaven wasn't watching you like a distant observer. It was watching you with a father's love, knowing the greatness that was being formed in you. The enemy didn't know that every attack was just fueling your rise. Every battle that nearly broke you was actually preparing you for something greater. So, chosen one, know this: heaven has seen every moment, every sacrifice, and every hardship. And now, you're about to understand why all of it was so crucial to your divine purpose. You might have thought your pain was pointless, your suffering unnoticed. Maybe you've questioned if anyone even saw the tears you shed in private, the nights you stayed awake, your heart breaking silently. Well, I have news for you. God saw it all, and it was never in vain. Every tear that fell from your eyes, every quiet cry, every silent moment of struggle, was carefully recorded in heaven's book. You were never forgotten. Psalm 56:8 says, "You have collected all my tears in your bottle. You have recorded each one in your book." Imagine this. Every tear you cried, every painful moment you endured was not just fleeting. It was captured and memorialized. The pain you thought was meaningless, heaven valued it. The battles you thought no one saw, God was taking notes. Every struggle, every time you felt alone in your fight, it was seen. It was written down. Heaven has been taking detailed note of your journey, and nothing was too small, too insignificant, or too painful to escape its attention. But it's not just about the tears. It's about what those tears represented. Each tear was a testimony of your perseverance. Every tear spoke of your unshakable faith, even when everything around you was falling apart. Every moment of pain wasn't just a sign of sorrow. It was a mark of your strength, your refusal to quit when the world thought you would, and heaven recorded it all because your journey has been building something bigger than you could have ever understood. What you experienced in silence and isolation when no one was watching, God was watching. And not only that, He was honoring you. While the world might have dismissed your pain as weakness, heaven saw it as strength, the strength that was being forged inside of you. And now the most important part, your reward is coming. Every drop of pain that you thought was wasted, it was invested. Every tear that fell, it was counted. And in the courts of heaven, there is a record that speaks of your faithfulness in the midst of trial. What you thought was insignificant suffering is now a testimony that will echo through the ages. Revelation 21:4 says He will wipe every tear from their eyes. There will be no more death or mourning or crying or pain, for the old order of things has passed away. All of your tears are not forgotten, and they are not without purpose. Heaven is preparing to wipe those tears away, and what you will receive in return is not just peace, but a glory that far outweighs the suffering. So hear this, chosen one. Everything you've endured has been recorded in heaven's book, and the time has come for that record to be honored. Your tears, your pain, your fight, they were never in vain. Heaven is about to release the reward that's been waiting for you. Do you feel like your pain has been unnoticed? Like the world has turned a blind eye to your suffering? Well, let me tell you this. God has been keeping track of every sorrow, and not just keeping track, but collecting them, storing them as precious treasures in His presence. Psalm 56:8 makes it crystal clear. You keep track of all my sorrows. You have collected all my tears in your bottle. You have recorded each one in your book. Think about that for a moment. Every tear you've shed, every heartbreak, every sleepless night, every moment of pain that you thought was just another step in your endless struggle, God has been counting them. Each tear you cried was valuable to Him, and He didn't let a single one fall without knowing its significance. When you cried alone, when you held back the tears in public to keep up the appearance that you were fine, God saw it. When you smiled through the pain, pretending like everything was okay, but inside you felt like you were falling apart, He was there. Every heart-wrenching moment, every time you doubted yourself, every time you felt abandoned, God was counting those sorrows as if each one held the key to something much greater. You might have felt like your struggles were invisible, like you were suffering without any acknowledgement or recognition. But I'm telling you now, you are not invisible. God sees you. He sees every battle, every wound, every time you felt like giving up, every time you chose to push through, when no one was there to cheer you on. He was recording each moment, not to remind you of your pain, but to honor what you endured. And it gets better. God didn't just collect your tears and sorrows to store them. He collected them because they are important to him. He is honoring your perseverance, your strength, and your faithfulness in the midst of what should have broken you. Those tears, they're not forgotten. They are valuable, and they are part of your divine journey that heaven is now going to reward. You thought you were alone, but you've never been alone in your pain. Psalm 56:8 is a reminder that God has been holding your tears, collecting them in a sacred bottle, keeping them safe, waiting for the moment to show you just how much they mattered. And that moment is coming when heaven rewards you, not for the pain itself, but for the way you rose above it, fought through it, and trusted Him in the midst of it. Every sorrow, every tear has been counted. And now heaven is about to show you why it all mattered. What if I told you that the hardest battles you faced weren't just random struggles, but a divine test? A test that you didn't even know you were undergoing, one that determines the course of your future. You thought you were simply surviving life's trials, but in reality, you were walking through a final exam set by heaven itself. This test wasn't like the ones you've taken before. This wasn't a test where you knew the questions and could prepare. No, this test was hidden, cloaked in moments of silence, in seasons of waiting, and the times you felt abandoned. The hardest part, you didn't even know you were being tested. Heaven didn't give you a warning. It didn't wave a flag to let you know that this moment, this battle, this trial, was the one that would determine everything that comes next in your life. But here's the kicker: you passed. You passed it without even knowing you were being tested. You may have thought that your endurance was just your will to keep going. You thought your strength came from just surviving. But no, you were being measured. Every time you chose forgiveness over bitterness, every time you held on to faith when everything around you screamed to give up, you were passing the test. And it wasn't about the big moments of triumph. No, heaven was watching your heart in the quiet, hidden spaces, the moments when no one was watching, when the world had no idea the price you were paying to keep moving forward, when everything inside of you screamed to quit, but you didn't. That was the test, and heaven saw it. It was recording it all. You didn't realize it, but every tear you wiped away in secret, every time you got out of bed when it felt impossible, every time you chose peace over anger, that was your faithfulness being tested. God wasn't looking at your outer strength, but at the inner transformation happening in the quietest moments when you chose to trust, even though you couldn't see the way forward. The test you didn't know you were in wasn't about your performance, your actions. It was about the condition of your heart. God was watching to see if, when everything seemed to be working against you, you would still choose Him. And you did. You chose Him over the bitterness, over the pain, over the silence. It was the final test, chosen one, and you passed. What you didn't realize at the time was that this test was going to shift everything in your life. You thought you were just surviving. It was actually a divine setup. And now the reward is coming. Heaven is about to honor you, not just for enduring, but for the way you endured, for the heart you kept soft when everything around you was meant to harden it. The test is over, but what you become through it is what will carry you into your next season. Now, you are ready for the blessings and breakthroughs that are about to come. You didn't just survive, you triumphed. And heaven noticed. Listen carefully, chosen one. The final test you've been walking through was never about simply surviving the hardships. Anyone can survive when the storm is loud, when the enemy's attacks are obvious. But this test, it was different. It was about what you did when no one was watching, when there was no applause, no recognition, no one to cheer you on as you fought your silent battles. It's about how you responded when the world turned a blind eye, and you were left alone in the quiet, wrestling with your thoughts, with your faith, and with your heart. In those moments, when the pain was heavy and there was no one around to comfort you, you had a choice. Would you let bitterness take root? Would you choose to harden your heart when life had been so unkind? Or would you rise above, holding on to faith, even when you felt like you were falling apart inside? That's the real test. Not the storms that shook your world for all to see, but the quiet, unseen moments when your true character was forged. Psalm 139:2 tells us, "You know when I sit and when I rise. You perceive my thoughts from afar." God knew every thought, every whisper of doubt you wrestled with in the silence. And he was watching not to judge, but to see how you would respond. Heaven was focused on the moments when you thought no one cared, when you were alone in your struggle, and still you chose to move forward. The real test wasn't whether you could endure pain, it was whether you would remain soft, remain faithful, remain trusting when the pressure was on and the world had turned its back. When the silence of heaven seemed so loud, when you couldn't hear God's voice or feel his presence, would you still trust that he was there, working behind the scenes? God was watching those moments, the ones when you were tempted to give up, but you kept showing up. When you were hurt, but you chose forgiveness over bitterness. When life was unfair, but you chose grace over revenge. That was the test, how you responded in the quiet when no one was looking, when the world didn't see how much it hurt, when it would have been easier to quit and walk away from everything you once believed. You see, heaven didn't care about your public victories. It was your private victories that mattered most. How did you act when no one was there to applaud your strength? How did you respond when the temptation to become cynical and hard was stronger than ever? It wasn't about surviving the storm. It was about how you weathered it in your heart. And here's the truth. You passed. You passed the test when you chose to keep your heart soft in a world that wanted to harden it. You passed it when you chose faith over doubt, hope over despair, love over hate, even when it felt impossible. Heaven has been watching, and now the reward for those unseen moments is about to be released. You've shown heaven exactly what you're made of, not by your outward actions, but by the condition of your heart when no one was around to see. And because of that, heaven is about to elevate you in ways you can't even begin to imagine. The test is over, but the promotion is coming. Your private victories will soon be celebrated publicly. Let's talk about something that might surprise you. Chosen one, the power of your perseverance. You may have thought your struggles were weakening you, that your endless battles and painful moments were breaking you down. But in reality, each moment of perseverance has been building you up, preparing you for the glory that is about to be revealed. Heaven has seen your faithfulness, your determination, your refusal to give in when everything in you wanted to quit. And because of that, you are about to be rewarded in ways you can't even imagine. The final test you've been walking through wasn't just about enduring a hardship. It was about how you kept going, even when it felt like you couldn't. Zephaniah 3:17 says, "The Lord your God is in your midst, a mighty one who will save. He will rejoice over you with gladness. He will quiet you by his love. He will exult over you with loud singing." Do you understand what this means? Heaven is not just acknowledging your endurance, it is rejoicing over it. The Lord of the universe is rejoicing over you, the one who endured in the silence, the one who kept moving forward even when the road was dark and difficult. Every single step you took in faith, every time you chose to keep believing when your circumstances screamed the opposite, heaven noticed. And now, as you've persevered, God is rejoicing over your strength and faithfulness. He isn't just proud of you for enduring. He is singing over you, celebrating every moment you stayed true to Him, even when it was hard. Isaiah 43:2 says, "When you pass through the waters, I will be with you, and through the rivers, they shall not overwhelm you. When you walk through the fire, you shall not be burned, and the flame shall not consume you." Do you see it? God has been with you in the fire. Every trial you've walked through, every storm that threatened to drown you, God has been there strengthening you, holding you up. The fire didn't destroy you. The waters didn't overwhelm you. They only purified you. What you may have seen as setbacks or failures, heaven saw as victories. You didn't just survive, you were refined. You didn't just endure, you emerged stronger. Heaven's eyes have been on you this whole time, and what it sees now is someone who has been tested, proven, and strengthened through the trials. Your perseverance didn't just prove that you could make it through the way you held on to God's promises, even when everything seemed impossible, is what has caused heaven to stand in awe of you. Your journey has been a testament to your faith, your obedience, and your unshakable trust in God. And now, as your perseverance has paid off, heaven is ready to reward you in ways that go beyond your imagination. So, chosen one, don't look at your journey with regret or sorrow. Look at it with pride and confidence, because heaven has seen every moment, and God is rejoicing over the strength you've shown. You've walked through the fire, and you didn't get burned, you were refined. The best is yet to come, and heaven is preparing to pour out its blessing on your life, all because of your unwavering perseverance. Can you even begin to fathom what happened in the heavenly realm? When your test results came in, heaven stood still. The angels paused in their eternal worship. The seraphim, who have spent eons crying, "Holy, holy, holy," in reverence to God, stopped because what they heard in your report was unlike anything they had ever witnessed before. Your response to your trials, your faithfulness in the face of unspeakable pain, it left heaven stunned. Think about it. In the courts of heaven, where the Creator of the universe sits on His throne with angels surrounding Him, offering ceaseless praise, they paused for you. When your trial was read aloud, when the record of everything you endured was presented, something extraordinary happened. Heaven didn't just acknowledge your struggles. They were overwhelmed by the strength and grace you displayed when the world expected you to fall. Zephaniah 3:17 says, "He will rejoice over you with gladness. He will quiet you by His love. He will exult over you with loud singing." Do you understand the magnitude of this? God Himself rejoiced over you. He exulted over your victory, not just with silent approval, but with loud singing. What you thought were moments of weakness, when you almost gave up, when you felt like no one saw you, those moments moved God's heart in ways words cannot describe. As your journey was read before the throne, God didn't just sit back passively. He stood up. The Almighty, the Creator, rose from His throne to watch you, and not in judgment or condemnation, but in amazement. The King of Glory, the one who spoke stars into existence, the one who commands legions of angels. He looked at you and said, "Have you seen what they've done?" In that sacred moment, God wasn't just watching. He was boasting about you. The same way He spoke of Job in Job 1:8, saying, "Have you considered my servant Job? There is no one on earth like him. He is blameless and upright, a man who fears God and shuns evil." God, in His infinite wisdom, pointed to you in the same way, saying, "Look at my child. Look at how they responded to the trial. Look at how they refused to be broken." The angels leaned in the elders in the heavenly courts, who have witnessed countless battles, who have seen souls tested beyond comprehension, were captivated by your strength. They were stunned by the way you endured when others would have turned away. Your victory wasn't just about surviving. It was about the way you maintained your faith when it would have been easier to walk away. Isaiah 43:2 says, "When you pass through the waters, I will be with you, and through the rivers, they shall not overwhelm you. When you walk through the fire, you shall not be burned, and the flame shall not consume you." This wasn't just a promise for you, it was a testimony that heaven had to stop and take notice of. You passed through the fire, and you didn't get consumed. In fact, what came out of the fire was gold. Heaven saw your refinement, your purity, your unshaken trust in God, and it left them in awe. God didn't just watch, He was proud of you. He wasn't just your silent observer. He was actively cheering you on, standing up to honor your perseverance. This wasn't just about surviving your trial. This was about your heart, your response when everything seemed to be falling apart. And heaven stood still in reverence of what it saw. You have left heaven in awe. Chosen one. Your perseverance, your faithfulness, and your heart for God have stirred the heart of the Almighty Himself. And now the rewards are coming because heaven has taken note, and it's about to celebrate you in ways that will change your life forever. Get ready, because your victory has just begun. Picture this: the eternal throne room of God, a place so holy that angels cover their faces in awe, where the very air is filled with unceasing praise. This is the realm where the Creator of the universe sits, where He is worshipped day and night by legions of celestial beings who have known nothing but absolute perfection. And yet in that moment, when your journey was revealed before the throne, everything changed. Heaven was shocked. Heaven was in awe. As the record of your trials, your sufferings, your unseen battles, and your perseverance was read aloud, something happened that doesn't occur often in the heavenly courts. The eternal worship, the song of the seraphim, the praise that had been unbroken since time began, it paused. The angels, who had never known a moment of doubt, who had witnessed the unfolding of creation itself, were suddenly silent, taken aback by what they were hearing. The King of Glory, the Almighty God, stood up. And what did He do? He didn't just sit in judgment or passive observation. He responded with overwhelming pride and joy. He boasted about you. The same God who spoke galaxies into being, who commands the forces of nature, took pride in you. Can you imagine that the Creator of the cosmos, the one who is never surprised by anything, was amazed by you? In that moment, God didn't see your failures, your moments of weakness, or the times you stumbled. He saw your heart, your resolve, your refusal to let go of His promises, and it moved His heart deeply. He rose from His throne, and heaven held its breath as He spoke of you, not with a casual remark, but with a declaration of pride that rippled through the heavenly realms. Zephaniah 3:17 tells us, "The Lord your God is in your midst, a mighty one who will save. He will rejoice over you with gladness. He will exult over you with loud singing." In that moment, heaven did not merely acknowledge your victory, it celebrated it. The Lord of hosts, the one who holds the universe in His hands, sang over you. He exulted over you with loud singing, a song of pride, of joy, and of gratitude for your faithfulness. Heaven didn't expect it, but it was moved by your response to every trial, every whisper of doubt, and every painful step you took to stay true to Him. The shock in the throne room wasn't because of your failure, it was because you refused to fail. When the enemy tried to break you, when life sought to bury you, you stood firm. And heaven could not help but stand in awe, not just of what you went through, but how you went through it. Your heart, your choices, your unwavering faith. In the silence, it left heaven speechless. Isaiah 43:2 says, "When you pass through the waters, I will be with you, and through the rivers they shall not overwhelm you. When you walk through the fire, you shall not be burned, and the flame shall not consume you. This is the moment when heaven saw that promise fulfilled in you, not just when the waters were calm, but when you were drenched in the flood, when the fire was hottest and you emerged unscathed. You didn't just survive, you thrived, and God stood in awe of your strength, your grace, your refusal to be consumed by the flames. So as your journey was unveiled before the throne, what did heaven see? It saw a warrior, a conqueror, a child of the Most High God who refused to bow, who kept their eyes on the prize despite every setback, every hardship, every painful trial. And in that moment, God himself was moved, not just by your survival, but by your heart, by the purity of your soul, the depth of your faith, and the way you chose him again and again when it would have been easier to turn away. Heaven was stunned, and God's reaction to your journey will forever mark the throne room, because what you did wasn't just survival, it was victory, and God is now ready to reward you for it. There are moments in eternity so powerful, so sacred, that even heaven itself pauses in reverence. When the full weight of your journey was laid before the throne of God, the entire heavenly realm fell silent, and not in sadness, but in awe. A profound, weighty silence filled the throne room as the angels, the elders, and all of heaven's hosts took in what had just been revealed. It wasn't just the story of your trials, your pain, your perseverance. It was the heart of your journey, the way you responded in the silence that took heaven's breath away. In that moment, the eternal worship that never ceases was hushed. The seraphim who had cried, "Holy, holy, holy," for ages, paused their voices, trailing off in amazement. The elders who cast their crowns before the Almighty in continuous praise held their breath. The air in the throne room thickened with awe as God himself leaned forward to hear the record of your journey, and he was deeply moved. This was no ordinary moment. This was a moment of divine recognition, a moment where heaven saw you not just as a survivor, but as a warrior, a victor. The tears of the Almighty began to fall, tears of overwhelming pride, not for what you had done outwardly, but for the heart you had carried through it all. Every tear you shed in private, every time you chose grace over bitterness, every time you held on to faith when it felt foolish, God saw it. And in that sacred silence, he wept not out of sadness, but out of pride, joy, and deep love for his faithful child. The creator of the universe, the King of glory, whose throne is surrounded by eternal worship, wept for you. These were not tears of pity or sorrow. These were tears of pride, tears that couldn't be contained because of the unshakable faith you had shown when heaven had been silent, when your path was unclear, when everything around you seemed to fall apart. You chosen one moved the heart of God in ways that even the heavenly hosts could not have anticipated. And then, after the tears fell, after the silence that spoke louder than any words, God rose. The Almighty stood from his throne, his heart overwhelmed with emotion, and he spoke your name to all of heaven. With a voice that echoed through eternity, he made a proclamation over your life, a proclamation that shook the heavens themselves. God, the creator of the cosmos, the one who holds the universe in his hands, declared to all of heaven, "Have you considered my child? Look at what they have endured. Look at their heart, their perseverance. They have refused to be broken. They have chosen me over everything else." Heaven did not expect this, but they have passed every test, and now I will raise them up. I will bless them. I will reward them. They will walk into their destiny with the authority and anointing that comes from my hand. This was the moment when heaven recognized your victory, when your life became a testimony that echoed in the throne room, when God Himself proclaimed your faithfulness, not as a passing acknowledgement, but as a declaration of who you have become and who you are destined to be. God did not just see your struggles, He saw your heart. He saw the way you kept believing when belief felt foolish. He saw the way you chose peace over anger, forgiveness over vengeance, faith over fear. And because of that, He was moved. And now His powerful proclamation will shape the course of your future. Chosen, one heaven has seen your journey. God Himself has declared you victorious. And what comes next is not just a blessing, it is a divine elevation. The silence in heaven was not just a pause. It was the moment when all of eternity stood in awe of you, and God rose to proclaim the greatness that is now unfolding in your life. What if I told you that the moments that moved God's heart the most weren't the big, dramatic victories, but the quiet, seemingly insignificant moments when no one was watching? Heaven wasn't just watching the times when you stood tall in front of a crowd or when your strength was on full display for the world to see. No, heaven took notice of the moments when no one saw you struggle, the quiet battles that only God knew. Those were the moments that truly moved His heart. It was in the stillness when you had every reason to give up, when your heart was heavy and your body was weak, but you still chose to keep going. Those moments were the ones that God was watching most closely. You thought those moments didn't matter. You thought no one noticed when you chose to stay silent instead of lashing out, when you chose forgiveness over bitterness, when you didn't retaliate even though you had every right to. But God saw it, and heaven took note. In the moments when you prayed with broken words, when your voice trembled, but you still called out to God, He heard you. In the moments when you had nothing left to give, but you still showed up, still chose to trust, still chose to believe, even when there was no sign of change, God saw your faithfulness. The small victories were the ones that truly revealed the strength of your spirit, the depth of your character. When you felt overlooked, but you kept showing up for others anyway, God noticed that. When you felt like you were giving and giving, but never getting anything back, He saw every sacrifice. When you smiled in public, pretending like everything was okay, but inside you were breaking, He saw your strength to keep moving forward despite the pain. Matthew 25:40 says, "Truly, I tell you, whatever you did for one of the least of these brothers and sisters of mine, you did for me." It wasn't about the grand gestures. It was about the small moments, the times when you chose love over anger, grace over judgment, humility over pride. When you gave your last bit of hope to someone who didn't even ask for it. When you helped someone even though you didn't have the strength to help yourself. Those were the moments that moved heaven. God saw that moment when you chose to forgive someone who hurt you deeply. You didn't feel like it. Every part of you wanted to seek revenge, wanted to make them pay for what they did. But you chose to let go. Heaven saw that act of grace, and it moved God's heart. It wasn't just about surviving the storms. It was about how you responded in the quiet, how you kept your heart soft in a world that wanted to harden it. In those moments when you felt invisible, when you wanted to give up. But you kept going anyway. God was honoring your perseverance. You didn't have to prove anything to anyone, but you still chose to do the right thing. Heaven wasn't looking at the big acts of service or grand victories. It was looking at the heart behind each small, hidden moment of faithfulness. Zephaniah 3:17 reminds us, "The Lord your God is in your midst, a mighty one who will save. He will rejoice over you with gladness. He will quiet you by His love. He will exult over you with loud singing." What God saw in those small private victories was a heart that trusted Him, a heart that chose to obey, even when the road was hard and the reward seemed far away. And in those moments, God wasn't just pleased. He rejoiced over you. So, chosen one, don't look at your journey and think that your struggles didn't matter. Those quiet moments of faith, the moments when no one was watching, when it would have been easier to walk away or to harden your heart, those moments were the ones that moved God's heart. Heaven has been recording them, and now it's time for you to see the reward that is coming for those small victories. They were never insignificant. They were the very things that are shaping your destiny. Here's a truth that might shake you to the core. God doesn't measure success the way the world does. The world says success is about your outward achievements, your public victories, and your ability to look perfect in front of others. But in heaven, success is defined by something far deeper. It's about the faithfulness and perseverance you show when no one is looking, when the world has forgotten, when the storm seems endless, and the victory feels far out of reach. The world wants perfection. It demands that you look flawless, never stumble, never show weakness. It tells you that your worth is tied to how you perform in the spotlight. But God isn't impressed by perfection. He's impressed by your heart, by your willingness to keep going, even when it feels like everything is working against you. The success God celebrates is not about how perfect you look from the outside, but how faithful you remain on the inside, how steadfast you are when things get tough. In fact, God's measure of success is all about perseverance. It's about staying true to your calling, holding on to faith even when it seems foolish to do so. It's about choosing to keep going even when everything within you is screaming to quit. That is what heaven celebrates, the tenacity of your spirit, the way you press on, even when the path seems impossible. Romans 5:3-4 tells us, not only that, but we rejoice in our sufferings, knowing that suffering produces endurance, and endurance produces character, and character produces hope. Your perseverance is not just about surviving, it's shaping you, molding you into the person you're meant to be. God is not concerned with how many times you fall, but with how many times you get back up. The world may judge you for your mistakes, your flaws, your imperfections. But God doesn't see you through the lens of your failures. He sees you as a warrior who has fought through every storm, who has remained faithful even when the world doubted you. He celebrates your heart to keep believing, keep loving, keep trusting, even when nothing around you seemed to make sense. 1 Corinthians 9:24 says, "Do you not know that in a race all the runners run, but only one gets the prize? Run in such a way as to get the prize." It's not about running perfectly. It's about running faithfully. Even when you stumble, even when you feel weak, even when the journey feels longer than expected, you are still running the race. And God sees that. He celebrates you not for how flawless you are, but for how you have persevered and kept your eyes on the prize. The world might place value on quick victories, on perfect performances, on immediate results. But God is interested in the long haul, in the journey, in the faithfulness to keep walking one step at a time in His direction, even when the road gets difficult. He doesn't need you to be perfect. He needs you to be persistent. He wants you to keep trusting, keep obeying, and keep believing no matter how long it takes. And the best part, God has already seen your victory. It's not about waiting for a distant future. Your victory is already unfolding. Perseverance in God's eyes is the greatest triumph, and you've already won because you've chosen to keep fighting, keep trusting, and keep walking the path He's set for you. So don't measure yourself by the world's standards. God celebrates your perseverance, not your perfection. Keep fighting, keep standing, and know that heaven is cheering you on, because you are succeeding in the way that truly matters. Let me shift your perspective for a moment. Chosen one. The trials you've faced, the battles you've fought, and the pain you've endured, they were never just about testing your strength. They were about transforming you into the person God always intended for you to be. Every hardship, every tear, and every struggle was not just a challenge. It was a divine process of transformation that prepared you for your purpose. You've been through the fire, haven't you? But here's the key. The fire wasn't there to destroy you. It was there to refine you. Every trial was not a random occurrence, but a carefully crafted process meant to shape you, to mold you, to strip away everything that wasn't meant for you, so that you could emerge as the person God is calling you to be. 1 Peter 1:7 says, "These have come so that the proven genuineness of your faith, of greater worth than gold, which perishes even though refined by fire, may result in praise, glory, and honor when Jesus Christ is revealed." You see, the fire was never meant to destroy you. It was meant to purify you. It's the process of refinement, where weaknesses are burned away and strengths are brought forth. What you thought was going to break you has actually been building you into a stronger, more resilient version of yourself. The pain was not a punishment. It was purposeful transformation. God didn't just allow these trials to test your endurance. He used them to shape your character. Every hardship was meant to teach you perseverance, patience, and trust. Each time you stumbled, God was there teaching you how to get back up, to rely on Him, and to grow stronger in faith. It wasn't just about survival. It was about becoming the person you were always meant to be. Isaiah 48:10 says, "See, I have refined you, though not as silver. I have tested you in the furnace of affliction." The furnace was never meant to destroy you. It was the place where God refined you into a vessel of honor, one who could carry the weight of God's calling on your life. The trials were the forge, and you were the masterpiece being shaped. The fire revealed your true strength, a strength you didn't even know you had, but now it is part of your identity. The testing was never the end. It was the beginning of your transformation. What you thought was a burden was actually a blessing in disguise. You've been transformed in ways that will serve your destiny, in ways you cannot yet comprehend. Your character has been built. Your faith has been solidified, and now you are standing in a place where God can use you for His purposes in a way that you never imagined. And let's be clear, this transformation is not just about internal growth. It will manifest outwardly. As you have been transformed, so too will your life begin to reflect that transformation. The pain you've endured will now become a testimony of God's power in your life. The setbacks you faced will now become the platform for your breakthrough. Your transformation is evident to all, and it will draw others to see the power of God at work in you. The trials didn't just test your strength, they revealed your strength, and now you stand as a living testimony of God's power to transform. You are no longer who you once were. You have been refined by the fire shaped by the trials and prepared for the destiny that God has for you. Romans 8:18 reminds us, "I consider that our present sufferings are not worth comparing with the glory that will be revealed in us." What you've endured is small in comparison to the glory that is about to be revealed in your life. The transformation is complete, and now you are walking into a season of purpose, blessing, and glory that will astound you. So remember this, chosen one. The trials were never just tests. They were the processes that shaped you, refined you, and prepared you for what is coming next. Your transformation is complete, and the best is yet to come. You are now ready for the calling, the blessings, and the victories that are waiting for you. Chosen one, I want you to grasp this truth deeply. You are not the same person you were before the trials. The journey you've walked, the battles, the hardships, the pain have all been part of God's divine process to transform you into a new creation. 2 Corinthians 5:17 declares, "Therefore, if anyone is in Christ, the new creation has come. The old has gone, the new is here." This verse is not just a comforting statement. It's a declaration of reality. The person you were before the trials, the person who feared, doubted, and struggled with the weight of life's burdens, is gone. You have been made new. Through the fire, you walked through the purification and the transformation that God has orchestrated in your life. You didn't just survive the trials, you emerged as a new creation, refined and strengthened by every hardship you faced. Those struggles, those moments when you thought you couldn't go on, were not just tests. They were the process that shaped your new identity. Every moment of suffering was molding you into someone stronger, more resilient, more aligned with the person God has destined you to be. Just like gold that must be refined in the fire, you have been purified. The impurities, the doubts, the weaknesses have been burned away, and now what remains is a vessel of strength, a warrior of faith, and a new creation in Christ. You are no longer who you once were. You've been transformed from the inside out. Isaiah 48:10 says, "See, I have refined you, though not as silver. I have tested you in the furnace of affliction." What you've gone through has been a divine refining. It wasn't just about surviving, it was about becoming who God always intended you to be. The fire didn't destroy you. It refined you into something far greater, something more powerful, something capable of carrying the weight of your purpose. Now, as a new creation, you walk into a future that is aligned with God's purpose for your life. The fire didn't burn you, it purified you. The trials didn't break you, they prepared you. And now, the old is gone, and the new has come. You are ready for what lies ahead, the purpose, the victory, the calling that God has prepared for you. Romans 8:18 reminds us, "I consider that our present sufferings are not worth comparing with the glory that will be revealed in us." What you've endured is nothing compared to the glory that will now be revealed in your life. You have emerged as a new creation, refined by fire, and you are now ready to step into the glory that God has for you. So, chosen one, take a moment and look at the person you have become. The struggles, the pain, the suffering, it has shaped you, refined you, and transformed you into a new creation. You are no longer who you were before. You are stronger, wiser, and more aligned with your divine purpose than ever before. The fire may have been painful, but it has prepared you for the greatness that is now about to unfold. The new has come, and your destiny is waiting. Let this sink in, chosen one. You are no longer just a survivor. You are a warrior. The person you were before the trials is gone, and in their place stands someone strong, resilient, and unshakable. You have been tested in the fire, and you have been proven through every battle you faced. Each trial, each moment of struggle has forged you into a warrior of faith. God didn't just allow you to endure. He used those trials to shape you, to prepare you, and to strengthen you for what lies ahead. The fire didn't break you. It revealed the warrior inside you. Every battle you fought was not a setback. It was a step toward the purpose God has for your life. You have emerged stronger, more focused, and more ready than ever to walk into your divine destiny. 1 Peter 1:7 says, "These have come so that the proven genuineness of your faith, of greater worth than gold, which perishes even though refined by fire, may result in praise, glory, and honor when Jesus Christ is revealed." What does this mean for you? It means that your faith has been proven, your strength has been proven, your perseverance has been tested, and it has been found worthy. You are a warrior who has fought through the storm, and now you stand with a new identity, one that is not defined by what you've been through, but by what you've become. Zephaniah 3:17 says, "The Lord your God is in your midst, a mighty one who will save. He will rejoice over you with gladness. He will exult over you with loud singing." Heaven is not just celebrating you for surviving, it's rejoicing over you because you have risen. You have fought, you have persevered, and you have remained faithful in the hardest of circumstances. Now you stand as a mighty warrior with a purpose that is unshakable. The new identity you have gained is one of a proven warrior. You have faced the fiercest battles, but you didn't just make it through. You emerged victorious. What the enemy meant for your destruction has only served to elevate you, to empower you, and to shape you into the warrior you were always meant to be. You are no longer the person who doubted their worth. You are now a warrior with purpose. God has anointed you for something great, something powerful, something that only someone who has been tested and proven could walk into. The fire didn't consume you. It revealed the warrior inside you. And now that you stand in this new identity, you are equipped with everything you need to step into your divine purpose. You have the strength of someone who has been through the fire and emerged victorious. You have the wisdom of someone who has been refined through struggle. You have the purpose of someone who knows that nothing can stand in the way of what God has for you. You are no longer afraid to face the challenges ahead because you have already overcome what once seemed impossible. Romans 8:37 declares, "In all these things, we are more than conquerors through him who loved us." This is your new reality. You are not just surviving. You are a conqueror, a warrior, and your destiny is now in sight. The path before you is clear, and the strength you need to walk it is already inside you. So stand tall, chosen one. Walk boldly in your new identity as a warrior tested, proven, and ready to take on the divine purpose that awaits you. Your trials have not defeated you. They have prepared you for the greatness that God has set aside just for you. This is your time. The warrior has risen, and now it's time to fulfill your purpose. Chosen one, I need you to hear this with all your heart. Your future depends on your ability to let go. It's time to release the hurt, the bitterness, and the weight of what others have done to you. I know the pain runs deep. I know that some wounds feel impossible to heal. But holding on to the past, the offenses, the betrayals, the wrongs done to you, is only holding you back from stepping into the blessings and victories that God has already prepared for you. You may have been hurt, betrayed, or abandoned by people you trusted, people you loved. They may never apologize. They may never recognize the pain they caused you. But forgiveness is not about them, it's about you. Forgiveness is your pathway to freedom. It's your way of releasing the past so that you can step fully into your future. And I know that sounds difficult, even impossible at times, but the truth is, forgiveness is not just a choice, it is a weapon. It is the key to your healing and the unlocking of your future. Ephesians 4:32 says, "Be kind and compassionate to one another, forgiving each other, just as in Christ God forgave you." Think about this. God forgave you, not because you deserved it, but because he chose to forgive because he loves you. In the same way, you are called to forgive those who have wronged you, not for their sake, but for yours. Forgiveness doesn't mean what they did is okay. It means you are choosing to release the grip that the past has on your heart so that you can move forward into everything God has for you. When you forgive, you break the chains that have been holding you to the past. And as long as you hold on to bitterness and anger, you remain chained to those old wounds. Forgiveness isn't about giving the other person power. It's about taking back your power. It's about choosing peace over pain, healing over bitterness, and freedom over bondage. Matthew 18:21. 22 reminds us that when we forgive, we do it not just 7 times, but 77 times, meaning we forgive as often as necessary. This is a process, not a one-time decision. Forgiveness doesn't always happen in an instant. But every time you choose to forgive, you are choosing to heal, choosing to move forward, and choosing to walk in the peace that only God can give. But here's the beauty of it. Your victory will become the proof. The life you are about to live, filled with blessings, breakthroughs, and victory, is the evidence that God is real. As you forgive, as you let go of the past, and as you embrace the future, you will begin to see how God's hand has been on your life all along. Every blessing that comes your way will be a testament to God's faithfulness and His ability to turn your pain into purpose. Chosen one, I want to remind you of something incredibly powerful. Your story is just beginning. What you've walked through, the pain, the battles, the testing, was not the end, but the beginning of something great. Heaven has watched in awe as you've endured, as you've persevered, and as you've emerged stronger than ever. God has seen every moment, every tear, every victory, and every choice to keep going when it would have been easier to give up. And now, the next chapter of your story is unfolding, filled with blessings, breakthroughs, and divine favor. The journey that once felt like a burden is now the foundation of your destiny. You've been tested and proven, and now the doors of blessing are opening for you. Heaven is cheering you on, and God is smiling down on you. He is not only proud of how you've endured, He is excited for what lies ahead, and He has already prepared the way for you. Let me offer this powerful sealing prayer over your life, affirming the promises and breakthroughs that are ahead. Father, I come before you in gratitude for this chosen one. I thank you for their perseverance, for their faith, and for their unwavering trust in you. Today, I ask that you seal every promise you've spoken over their life, that you open the doors of blessing that have been prepared for them since the beginning of time. May they walk confidently in their new identity, knowing that they carry the approval of heaven. Lord, I pray that you continue to transform their life, that you lead them into new seasons of victory, abundance, and peace. As they step into this next chapter, I ask that you surround them with your favor, your protection, and your guidance. May every step they take be aligned with your purpose for their life. I declare that they are no longer defined by their past, but by the new creation you've made them to be. Bless them abundantly, Lord, and let their life be a testimony to your goodness, grace, and power. May their life shine as proof to all that you are real, that you are faithful, and that you are always with them. In Jesus' name, amen. Now, chosen one, I want to invite you to declare this truth. You're seen. Comment below with "I am seen," because you are not forgotten, and heaven is watching in awe of your strength and resilience. If this message resonated with you, share it with others who need to hear that their trials are not in vain and that God is preparing something incredible for their lives. As you step into this next season, I encourage you to embrace it with faith and anticipation. Walk confidently in your new identity, knowing that heaven is with you, and God's blessings are just beginning to unfold in your life. The best is yet to come. Get ready for your breakthrough. You're seen. You're loved. You're destined for greatness.